live. We should be live right now, ladies and gentlemen, right now. So, welcome back to TechWorldTV, and I'm joined by the one, the only, Salazar of the Greg. How you doing, man?
What's going on, man? We did this in test, and I never thought you would actually say it in real life. So this is it's a very satisfying moment.
Okay. Well, sorry we haven't streamed for a while. We both went to Computex. That was insane. It was so busy. I was just on point that whole time. And I believe you went to Germany after, yeah?
Yeah, I went there for about 3 days. My wife lives in Germany, and then we both flew. I flew back a little earlier than she did. She came in last night, so it's been the time zones have really done a number on us. Getting used to the Taiwan time zone, which is like 13 hours ahead of here, and then going back 7 hours to Germany, and then back another 7 hours to CST. It's
this poor man. Is
it's
that
not
basically
fun.
yeah? This poor man. Okay. We thank you for your hard work, Greg. And we have a hot show lined up for you guys today. Some news coming in that I found off Reddit and then sort of dug in more. But Lisa Su is apparently Jensen Huang's niece. So we'll roll the intro and then we'll get straight into this topic. So see you guys soon after this intro. Have you seen the intro?
I have seen the intro. This is the one where the world blows up. Does the world explode? Yeah, I love it.
It's pretty hot.
I'm watching it delayed though, so eventually it'll show up in the live stream.
Okay. Well, we're going to get straight onto the news segment here. Here it is. So it originated from like an article where a little blunder live. That's not going to happen again. Okay. So basically with XSplit, you have to have the browser open on Edge for some reason because Chrome doesn't work properly. But anyway, NVIDIA CEO Jensen Huang is the uncle of AMD CEO's Lisa. So this was on Reddit and then it came up on Wikipedia. And apparently it's like confirmed. Like it's not BS. It's real. Like this is real news. And then like where it came from was Babbletech Reviews made a video, and like 6 minutes and 42 seconds in, you can see like they start talking about it on a Chinese news site or news like show, and yeah, they're like related. I mean, it's just and I've been telling people for ages. Like I've been telling people for ages about all these. You know, you get these guys like they're just diehard fanboys of these companies, and it's like at the top of these companies, they're all friends and now family. Like
I'm still kind of like set aback by this because I don't know. I have to do my own research to confirm it because all I've seen is just the Reddit post.
Dude, Jar Jar is just chilling here. Jar Jar is chilling here. He's just like, doesn't faze him. Me and Jar Jar, we've been telling the audience for a long time, guys, just focus on the products. If the products are good, buy them. Use them for yourself.
To me, this doesn't change anything. I mean, how I see both companies, whatever. They're both companies that want to both make money. At the end of the day, their bottom dollar is all that matters to them. So if they're related or not, to me, if they're related, it's actually kind of cool because then there's more of like a family rivalry there, and then they feel even more convicted to compete, right? So I'm fine with it if that is the case. I don't think it's a bad thing. It's kind of funny. It reminds me of the Mayweather fight. When they were all buddy after the boxing match, right? But they were just at each other's throats beforehand. Like they all, like you said, they all know each other. They've all been to dinners together. It's not like they hate each other. The fan bases make it seem as though that's the case, but I'm sure they all get along just fine.
So, well, I just thought that was like is interesting because I've been saying for years and years now that maybe people will start getting on the Tech Yes tune. Maybe. Just like, guys, just focus on the products. So not much else to that news story, really. I mean, I've gone down conspiracy avenue before. This sort of plays into today's conspiracy. I guess we're starting off the news segment with conspiracy theory. Do you think that Jensen recommended Lisa Su for the position?
Ooh.
And there's some possible infiltration there. Do you reckon?
Ooh.
It's a possibility. It could be. Who knows? Conspiracy theory. We've got to go to explore this. So I've said in the past, I mean, they're all companies, guys. They're all publicly listed companies. They all make products that people buy. So, yeah, they're not like doing a charity service. So whatever you guys at the end of the day think about AMD, NVIDIA, or Intel, just keep in mind that they're there to make a profit. That's all. So close that off. And then, do we want to move on to something that's really juicy too? Do we want to move on to the next news segment? This is pretty juicy because this one really, like when I read about this over 6 months ago, I thought it wasn't possible. Now, it is cryptocurrency. And I know some people are going to sort of tune out with cryptocurrency, but this was crazy because it's basically 51% attack. And what happens is, especially proof of work networks, my favorite one, Zencash, just suffered an attack. Well, not just. I mean, I was at Computex, so I didn't really tune into this news, but essentially they'll hire, because they can, attackers can now hire network, like from NiceHash and stuff, they can hire computing power. And so they can momentarily hire the network with enough compute power that they can then do what's called a duplicate transaction. Because they have the mining network themselves, they can send that cryptocurrency to an exchange, change it into Bitcoin, get it off the exchange, and at the same time they've sent another transaction to another wallet. And what they do, since they've got a 51% of the network hashing rate, they then say, no, that transaction was invalid, the one we sent to the exchange. And essentially it's a big rip-off and con job. And this has happened with Zencash, it's happened with numerous other cryptocurrencies now, and it's sent the value, I guess it's shaken up the cryptocurrency market big time, because this is unregulated, guys, unregulated. So it's completely unregulated. And when that happens, you essentially you give danger to these kind of things. Like, you haven't really delved into the world of cryptocurrency, have you?
No, I haven't touched it because of that very thing, because it is unregulated. I think it's just manipulated cesspool.
Exactly. Apparently, they stole $700,000 worth of cryptocurrency of Zencash, and this one really hurt me at heart because I was a big fan of Zencash. It really sort of really hit home with me because this was the cryptocurrency I stopped mining in January. I pretty much gave up in January.
I was going to ask you, do you usually, like, when you made your money doing that, did you just start reinvesting it into other coins and just trying to build up,
I put it all back into the channel, dude. Like, that's what I mean.
Okay.
I made some money off crypto, and I said to my viewers how much I made back, in the video.
I remember that video, yeah. I saw that.
Yeah, I told my viewers I was completely transparent, and that money went into the Tech City. So I haven't looked back yet. I just knew it was a stupid price point for cryptocurrency. I just got out. But now I'm sort of sitting on the sidelines, and I'm seeing what's unfolding. There's price crashes. Look at Zencash. It's down near to it. It's almost getting down to its new low. Getting close, and this sort of really shocked the market because now these 51% attacks are real. I think they were like talking about it like over 6 months ago. They were talking about it could be a possibility, but now it's actually happening, and people are scamming the system. And because it's unregulated, it's a big problem. And that's just like it's really sort of like, wow, okay. Sure, Bitcoin would be almost impossible to hack, because of just how much raw compute power there is there. But it's a really scary thing. And so, I don't know. I've always been on the fence with cryptocurrency. I've always been on both sides and seen the arguments on both sides. But this one really sort of made me step back and open my eyes. I'm like, wow, okay, what is really going on here with crypto? So,
what
it's
really
mainly the
set
ones
me
that
off,
GPU you mind.
what set me off was the fact that we started hearing talks about the U.S. government wanting to tax it, right? So that was the first thing on their mind, was like, okay, let's just get money from the money they're making. Let's not worry about regulating it, because we know that they're making so much money from the manipulation. We're just going to tax it so that we can reap the benefits of the manipulation itself. Mm-hmm. And to me, like, there's just that double standard there is, trying to invent or reallocate some resources from like the SEC or the FTC, which are those are the bureaucracies we have in the states that regulate trade and stuff. Trying to just get those up from scratch to regulate a market that was invented, or that wasn't invented, but that's been growing in popularity massively over the past year, is just, I guess, too difficult for them.
So what they've got here essentially is a chart, and they've put it up where you can actually borrow hashing power from NiceHash, and the ones with over 100% is basically you can just borrow all the power from NiceHash. It costs you $819 to theoretically hack a 1.12 billion market cap network. That is scary. Like, that's really scary. Same with Bitcoin Gold. That's apparently doable as well. It's really eye-opening when you look at those figures. So it's sort of like a new thing that's coming into play. I mean, maybe this will be a driving force for dropping the price of crypto again. And I mean, that's what I mean. There's good news to come out of this. Gamers, that's what I said. I filmed the used parts hunt this month. It was huge. Stay tuned for that. I'll probably be dropping on the channel tomorrow. But in that video, I talk about the trends. So I'm picking up all the parts essentially to build gaming PCs, but the GPUs, because I know the GPUs are going to come down. This is like, this is proof of work right here in the news. So just get ready if you're a gamer and you want a cheap graphics card. A perfect storm is coming about, and you'll be getting your graphics cards cheap. Don't worry. Where are my graphics cards, Hey, give me an Aussie accent, actually. Crocodile River. Where's the graphics cards?
Crocodile River.
That's
Where
it.
are my graphics cards? I don't think that was Australia.
Where's my graphics cards? So yeah, the prices are plummeting of cryptocurrencies. But on some other news as well, we came out of Computex with the 28 core, and I watched Gamers Nexus video. He was the first to sort of break this news, and it was a very good video. And what do you think? Like, what's your whole thinking about this whole 28 core display at Computex? I didn't actually even see it. I was so busy. I didn't even see it. I didn't have time. But I mean, what are they doing? Like, really, what are they doing? Like, this is what I just tell myself. What is this? Who thought of marketing this with massive tubes from chilled water going into a PC and think that people wouldn't notice? Not to mention, guess the practicality of it.
I give them the benefit of the doubt from the aspect, or from the perspective that, when I first saw this stuff, I see like, okay, it's really easy to sell rants on YouTube, especially. And at first I looked at Steve's video and I was like, oh, come on, this is just like a view grabber. But then I actually thought about it. I'm like, okay, what is Intel actually doing here? What is their purpose behind this display? Because if they're just showing, hey, check out this really cool build, we got this system overclocked across 28 cores to 5 gigahertz or whatever, this is really cool. But if they're trying to promote it in a way that is deceiving, is misleading, as in, hey, the average consumer can pick up, any CPU just like this and overclock it to 4.5, 5 gigahertz, that's where the misconception comes in. That's where the misleading and the kind of under the table stuff, shady things come into play. So I think that it ultimately came down to how Intel presented it. I didn't see the actual booth. I didn't watch Steve's video. It came out during Computex. I never watched it. We were too busy.
Basically, I've never seen a VRM this beefed up before.
I did see that picture. Look at the whole top of the board, dude.
I mean, the thing that gets me is the practicality. If they just said, look, we've got a beefy water cooling system here, even if it was a custom hardline tube water cooling, I would have been like, okay, who cares? But the fact that they had to use like chilled water, like, and then covering up the pipes and taping everything down and for condensation, it's
right.
It's not practical at all. Like, where's the practicality of this? Apparently, it's like using 1,000 watts for the chiller alone. Like, I didn't even know. Like, it was just what happened with the marketing. Now, there is devil's advocate a little bit. Like, it's like half devil's advocate, and not even. It's not. I guess you wouldn't even call it that. Computex. One thing that came out of Computex for me was I realized it wasn't really like a lot of the companies in the enthusiast tech scene have made it for showcasing new products. That's certainly a big thing that's come out of Computex. But when I was walking around the floor, and I should have vlogged it, I just didn't have any time, I was talking to a lot of the booths. One of the coolest booths there was Summer. I've done a case, I've featured their case on my channel ages ago when I was doing like refresh and X58 systems and stuff. Very budget orientated. Now I talked to them about their cases and they were straight away, they pitched me, we sell 500 units, 3 RGB ring fans at the front, 40 USD a pop. And I was like, wow, that's actually really good value. But they were selling wholesale. So a big thing of Computex was the wholesale factor. A lot of people are going around there from businesses worldwide and looking to get new wholesalers and contacts and stuff like that. That was a big thing about Computex that I didn't understand from last year. I was just a noob. This year I was sort of like sussing out what was going on. So maybe a lot of wholesale contacts for Intel were there and they're trying to impress them. But little did they realize this, if you're dropping this kind of money on a 28 core system, you're going to be researching that thing, kingdom come. So I mean, I didn't even know. That's why I said I don't even know where the little devil advocates play in. But I guess they're trying to showcase their product being the best it can be. But even then, it was a fail. It was a real big fail.
I think the motherboard was the biggest part of that. I mean, and you showed me that, and that instantly brought back the reminder of how ridiculous just the power delivery aspects of that board where like the VRM up top, that's just insane. You're never going to see them on a consumer grade board. And if you do, it's going to be so unsustainable from a thermal standpoint that the layman's never going to have any cooling capacity capable of keeping that CPU from thermal throttling immediately when you push the power button. Like that's just insane. Like look at that. That's just there's no way that's ever going to be mainstream ever. So when you use a board like that to convey this insane amount of power, regardless of if the chip is overclockable to 5 without or with LN2. If they said up front that they were cooling with LN2, that's one thing, if they're using a chill or whatever. But if they don't say that, and instead they're saying, hey, check out the CPU, it's overclocked to 5 gigahertz, check out how cool it is, that's where I think it's shady. And because I didn't see the booth personally, I don't know enough about it yet. I need to watch Steve's video, to be frank, because apparently that was preposterous. So I'll be able to talk more about it when I see the video. But yeah, I mean, just from the motherboard, looking at the motherboard itself, I already know that it was just a publicity stunt.
Well, apparently, if you want to buy it, it's coming out in September. So I mean, this is the prices of this.
Is that the link that you sent?
Well, I've got some Xeons here. Like this is the one, the 28 core 8-1. It's 28 cores. It might not be the exact one, but it's going for like 15,000 on eBay.
Yeah,
there's another one, $21,000. Oh man, you really got to want those cores if you want this. I mean, Anyway, on the flip side, AMD do have their 32 core second gen Ryzen Threadripper. They announced that, and they had that on demo, and it was running absolutely fine. It was on a big air cooler. Now the practicality of that was just real, and that was good. Now, one thing I did, I made a video for Gigabyte, and I told Gigabyte, I was like, okay, guys, what's the deal with all this? Because I didn't have time to check it out yet, and they told me 24 core. Now, people pulled me up my video. They're like, Brian, not 24 core, it's 32. But that's what I was told by Gigabyte. Now, sometimes they let information slip, so I'm not sure if that's an indicator of whether X399 will only be getting the 24 core as opposed to the 32 core. Who knows? Yeah, so they had a 16 core, now they got a 24 core. Seems logical. If you're going to throw the 32 core gauntlet down, what are you going to have for the next generation? You know what I mean? At least they are, now we've got a plan for 2020 or whatever. At least that gives them an option. It does make a bit of sense, and that's what I was told. I was told the X399 will support the new 24 core, specifically 24 core, not 32 core. And so I relayed that in my video because I hadn't even heard about the 32 core presentation at that point in time because I was so busy. So that's what I relayed to my viewers. Who knows? That's maybe you're just getting a 24 core. But the thing is, right, I had a 7900X in my main. I had an 1800X before that. I now have the 8700K in my main rig. It's the most practical for what I do. And that's video editing. I do a bit of power using, man. I'm no slouch. I do a lot of work on my computer. 5 gigahertz 8700K is beast. It's beast mode. Ring bus, snappy as. I did that video and it showed that things weren't in my head, at least from the statistics. So, whatever.
Yeah, no, I get to. I have a 2700X in this system I'm streaming with. I have a 8700K in the system right next to it. I switch between them all the time. I edit personally. I edit and render with the 8700K. I've been playing around with the hardware encoding, the IGP encoding, and just kind of trying to see if there are real sustainable benefits with that. Because with every update with Adobe, it always messes something up inevitably. So I keep having to retest every time they do that. Play with different settings. You have to actually go in and physically enable IGP in some cases. And for all intents and purposes for what I do, without IGP, the 2700X is a really good all-around CPU, especially for the price. The 8700K
is good. For me, I liked it.
Yeah, it really is. Yeah,
I liked it so much more than the 1800X. And people are like, it's just an incremental upgrade, but.
And here's why, because this is the biggest selling point for it. You can enable XMP profile with the 2700X and just let it go. You can run like I haven't had a single issue with any RAM kit I've ever run on any second gen Ryzen processor, just because they've refined that section of the CPU so much more. From an architectural standpoint, that's a big jump for me. Is the fact that you're no longer limited by memory speed on the Infinity Fabric side of things for the CPU. And now you get those. That was one of the big things that I was talking about in my review video. Is like, look, the gains you're going to see from this are more than likely going to be from the jump in memory speeds, assuming you have memory that is able to clock higher than the 2400 or 2666 megahertz frequency you were running it at before on Ryzen 1, because that was as high as I could usually ever get my 1700X or whatever else I was testing. And that was a big factor, a big limiting factor, right? With the Infinity Fabric was that memory frequency. So big improvement there. And I think that closed in the gap a lot for
me. Like 2700X felt snappier than the 1800X by quite a bit. So, you know, and like I'm going down this tangent now where we've got a used build coming. I'm going to call it the Snapmaster Flex. It's going to be such a cool build. I may even switch my main rig to it. It's that cool. So stay tuned for that. Things aren't, but hey, when people, you know, in the past, people said it's all in my head. It ain't in my head, man. It's a difference. It's, what's the word? Quantifiable. And you can show it. And I did show it. Now, you know, I get some guys going, oh, this guy doesn't know what he's talking about, rah, 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 rah. I make mistakes, man. Sure, I've made mistakes. Sometimes I've made pretty bad mistakes in the past on my channel. It doesn't stop me from, you know, I mean, the clumsy factor, that's never going to go away. Always going to be a clumsy dude. That's just the nature of me. I mean, you look at Dad Man. If you've seen him on the channel before, he's clumsy. Like, he's the next level clumsy compared to me. But it's not going to stop me from still endeavoring into new topics and sort of trying to get things right and being the jack of all trades. That's not going to stop me from doing that. And especially if I can open up a can of worms on this and people get more insight, more knowledge out of it, then isn't that what the tech community is all about? Growing your knowledge? Yeah, I don't know. Anyway, Snapmaster Flex build coming. I like the 2700X a lot more than the 1700. I mean, I know you did a video, $200 for the R7 1700, but dude, knowing what I know, I wouldn't go with a 17. I'd still want to get that 2700X or 2700.
Well, yeah, but you're paying $130 more for that.
Doesn't matter, man.
You can get that's the difference between a 1060 and a 1070. To me, that's a bigger difference than jumping from 1700 to 2700.
But that's me. I'm editing videos on it, dude. For me,
well, yeah,
like
but editing,
there's no difference.
Yeah, but on a 5-minute 4K video file, that's maybe 20 seconds. Like, I'll give 20 seconds any day, every day, for the difference in a 1060 and a 1070. To me, that's a much bigger delta than 20 seconds in rendering.
No,
in
but
4K.
But you're now you're overlooking the subjective things too. Like, okay, so you go from an SSD to a hard drive, right? Have you ever done that before?
Oh God, it's terrible.
Now, it's not on that scale, of course.
It's nowhere
on that
near
scale.
that. It's nowhere
but
near
I'm just,
that scale.
just setting the scenario, okay?
No, there is no scenario.
Just calm down. I'm just setting just imagine, okay? Just picture it now. You go from a 2700X to a 1700. You just know something's a little bit off there. You're like, I want that.
Yeah.
See, now you picture me in my mindset. I can't go back to a 1700.
Hold on. They carry the same story, the same analogy. Going from a 2700X to a 1700X, right? You notice a difference there. I did notice a difference going from one to the other. You notice a bigger difference going from the Jesus, what am I doing here? The 1070 to the 1060. Yeah. So if that's the price difference. Literally, it's $120 delta. That's the difference between a 1060 and a 1070, right? So do you notice a bigger difference going from a 1070 to a 1060 or from a 2700X to a 1700X?
But you're assuming I play video games.
I'm assuming that you reallocate that extra money into something worthwhile. Usually that's a graphics card, right? That's a fair assumption. So
I mean, for gaming, sure, your argument's very valid. I'm talking about video editing, though.
Yeah, but not
which
just
I
video.
do.
I mean, nobody just video edits on a video editing PC. I mean, they use it for gaming too, I'm assuming, unless it's just like a workstation PC for virtual machines and encoding and all that other stuff. But
I know, but here's the scary part. I'm literally like 95/5. I spend 95% of my time on the computer video editing. I don't game much nowadays. That's the sad thing. I look at all this gear I've got here and it's just depressing because I'm like, okay, I got. Well, no, it's not depressing. I love doing the content.
Well, yeah,
video
I know what you
editing
mean, though.
is not fun. Video editing is not fun. Like, video editing is not fun compared to everything else I do around here. It's just, it's just a drag. But hey,
a lot of people, have the editors on the site. Like, they'll pay, I don't know, anyway, to be like $40 and $100 per video for them to video edit.
Yeah, so, I mean, I'm behind the scenes. I talked about this exact thing just like today or yesterday, and then I uploaded it today. They just talked about this exact same thing. So with the video editors, maybe the States is different. I'd love to find anyway, it's there. It's there. So what have we got on other news as well? Sorry, we've been sort of going off on the tangents. Z390 is apparently a refresh of a Z370. So you might see a little bit of a beefed up VRM there, a bit more marketing terminology. Apparently they were meant to use a 14 nanometer node. They're using 22 nanometer on the chipset, I believe. And
On a chipset? What?
yeah, and so they were meant to add in new features with that too, like native USB 3.1 Gen 2 support. Apparently that's not coming at all. So you're just getting a refreshed Z370. But the good news out of that is that if you have a good Z370 motherboard, you can then use that same Z370 motherboard to get the 8-core. So if you're apparently it's coming in September as well. So if your heart was set, if you're like, look, Brian, I want the 8900K. I mean, who knows the name? Probably will be the 8900K. I want that. I have to have it. Then maybe look for a Z370, a beefed up Z370 on sale. Because the Z390 is going to cost more than the Z370, all things considered. Just pointing that out there. But yeah, that's the rumors in the 8-core here. We've got the news segment, which this website has so conveniently given a little bit of a freeze on.
Z370 was the Z370 was like that premature launch, right, for Intel to keep up with AMD's launch of Ryzen, which was just taking hold everywhere. And that's why we only had Z370 for a long time, right? So that was the only chipset you could buy for Coffee Lake for the longest time because it was essentially a rushed launch, right, to get those CPUs to market. And Z390 is essentially what Z370 should have been. So it is a refresh in a way, but it's supposed to be a pretty substantial improvement from a power delivery standpoint to be able to handle up to 8 cores, which is something that we've, from Intel, back in the past, we've had to use the X Extreme Series chipsets, enthusiast chipsets for those kinds of power delivery.
Just got another snap error there.
Yeah.
So it was talking about the 8900K. So yeah, apparently that's coming in September. There was one that was released. The diagram's gone because we got the all snap error and we're on live stream, so we don't want to risk anything sort of crashing again. And so yeah, coming in September, basically 8 cores, 16 threads. There's a engineering sample out at the moment, 2.6 gigahertz boost clock unknown. Yeah, and that's really all there is to look forward to with that. Nothing really super exciting except you get another 2 cores, 4 threads of that snappy goodness. That's about it. Yeah, Greg, you there?
Yeah, what's up? Did you want more beautiful commentary?
No, we're going to talk about this one here. Intel's CEO resigned due to a bad, not a bad relationship, due to a relationship. And is that really a bad thing? Apparently it was consensual, which of course is not bad at all. Like, you should be able to have a consensual relationship at work as long as it doesn't affect your work. Now, whether it's affecting his work or not, who knows? But apparently it was going on for a while, so maybe it's just an excuse to fire. I don't know. Who knows? But they've apparently got rules from 2011. So apparently that's in their rules from 2011. You're not allowed to have relationship with employees. But he met, in 1990s, he met his then wife in the late 1990s. I don't know. So there's...
Yeah, this says here that the affair took place, before he ever took the role as CEO, and that's why people are kind of like, I don't know. I'm kind of like you here, like I don't care as long this kind of stuff is just because it's company policy, right? He's the CEO. I'm sure the board of directors they were flipping out over this, but to me, this is just petty.
Yeah. I just think it's in private sector it shouldn't be an issue. I think in the private sector, in the public sector here in Australia, there's been a big thing about it, and that's a different story. But in the private sector, it's the private sector. You get paid for your work. If you work and you're doing your job well, I don't really see what relationships have to do with that, especially when they're consensual. Of course, if there's any other funny bug is going on, that's a different story again. But yeah, you met your wife at the Aerocool booth. There was no problems there, was there? Aerocool brought you back again this year, didn't they?
Yeah, it was really funny because she, now that she's working on, we're just trying to get things sorted here and there, and so she's just taking on her job in Germany right now full time, and so it was kind of funny to come back to Aerocool, and she's kind of like working with me now, and it's like, hey guys, I stole it from you.
Yeah,
I
you
love
still
Hannah.
got,
Hannah's
yeah.
a really cool guy. I just like straight up walked up to him and was like, "Hey, she's on my side now."
Yeah, she
It
ain't with
was
you guys
cool.
anymore. Bye bye,
Uh,
Eric. Bye bye.
I was gonna ask though, this guy, like, I don't know much about this story. I didn't really care too much about it when I first read the
Yeah.
headline. But this guy, I assume he was married with kids when this
Mm-hmm.
happened, or was okay. So this was an affair. Like he was legit cheating on his wife then, right?
Mm,
So that would probably be. I mean, if the guy was
bad for the
single,
image.
yeah, like
Mm.
if he was single, just messing around, and like company policy, blah blah blah. I bet you they wouldn't have made a big deal about it. But because he's married, I'm sure he's got kids. I don't know much about this guy, but
Mm-hmm.
that is a public image issue. That's a PR
Oh
issue,
yeah, that's
and
exactly
so
right.
yeah, Intel is gonna
So
play. They're gonna play the high card. I
yeah,
don't blame them for doing it at this point.
yeah.
Now that I know that, it's a different
I
story.
know,
But
I know. So it's well, that's what I mean. It's not coming. The policy itself isn't really where it's playing off. It's playing off the image, and I think that's the biggest thing. So
right.
I guess you always. I mean, for Intel, it's a smart move. They always put the policies in there, and they exist so they can enact them if possible to something that's different. In its core, it's more of a public image thing. That's what I think than the actual policy itself. So yeah, you like you said, if he was single, it wouldn't have been a problem. I don't think that's the truth of the matter. Yeah. Anyway, do we want to move over to comments? Answer some hot comments. I actually don't even know if we. The donation thing's wrecked anyway. So, did we get any questions?
I've been kind
Or
of looking. Once
so yeah,
Naruto asked if you're wearing eyeliner.
me or you?
Yeah, yes, you, dude. I'm like
Me?
so pasty on your monitor on this live stream.
Eyeliner? Damn, dude. What? Okay.
Yeah,
No, I'm not wearing eyeliner.
I get asked if I wear makeup in my videos, so it's
Oh
okay. I
wow.
think it's a
Okay.
lighting thing. Yeah.
Well, just
Yeah.
sometimes you up the saturation and stuff. Um, cool. Do you think my eyes look pretty? Does he think my eyes look pretty?
I think
That's
they
pretty
look.
cool.
I think they look pretty. I see what he's saying. It's like a natural beauty thing you got going
I'll
there,
try
bro.
some eyeliner. Well, if I get an 80s rock haircut, then I'll put some eyeliner on, okay? Yeah, I watched that series Stranger Things. Man, that was so good.
Is
Oh,
it
I can't
good?
wait to see.
Really? I need something else
Yeah.
to binge.
If you
Okay.
like 80s themed stuff, they got
Hmm.
the 80s music, they got the 80s film style, they got the 80s haircut. It was just heaven. That was like the drama to watch, man. I just love that. I was just like glued to the screen. Season 1, season 2 smashed it. Bang. Now I'm waiting for season 3 and 4, which apparently they're filming back to back. That was just such a cool drama, dude.
That's cool.
Stranger Things. You got to appreciate 80s though.
Oh
So
yeah, 80s rock, dude, is my
yeah,
thing, man.
that's it. It's everyone's thing, I think. So I was thinking about even what do you reckon, Jar Jar? We grow an 80s haircut, both of us, and then that's it. Delivering the tech news with an 80s haircut. I think people will like it. I think it's ready for a change. Things have got to change around here for the better. So anyway, questions. I'll move over to chat as well, which I conveniently don't have open, I believe. But yeah, we'll run through some quick questions. Is the Ryzen 1700 a good deal right now instead of the 27600X? It depends on what you do, man. For me, sadly I'd rather the 2600X. I know I'm going to cop a bit of hate for it, but for me that latency thing is a bit real. It's real, man. They dropped the latency big time, and for some reason it just showed. That's all. So and yeah, the mullets all around. Yeah, that's what I mean. I'm gonna get a mullet. I mean, come on. Like I talk bogan on the used deals hunts and stuff. Yeah, we're gonna get some 80s rock haircuts coming back. You'd
I
look pretty,
agree.
and you got some real thick hair there, brother. You'd go well
Oh,
with an 80s
dude,
rock
it's
haircut.
annoying. Yeah,
Yeah.
if I let it grow out anymore, like in middle school, I had really long hair, and it would just grow out. Like I always thought it would start growing back, like longer,
Yeah.
like women's hair, most women's hair. This grows
Mm.
out like a fro, like an
Oh, you could
afro.
definitely style
So
that though. There's probably something to it. We
yeah,
got
I
to
have
ask,
to
is
like
it?
perm straighten or something ridiculous. It's the only
Is
way I
it?
get around it.
So we got. Is it good to sell a GTX 1070 for the win for $300? I mean, be good for someone buying it. If you want to sell it for
Yeah.
that, yeah, you'll get that easy for that, sure. What GB can be bought with $55 in total? USD 270X off the top of my head. They can go around for about $50 USD. Very nice card. They're one of my favorite cards actually. The more I appreciate that card, the more I like it. 270X will still play 1080p games. You can get them for cheap. They're sort of they're overshadowed by whatever the 7970 and the 7950 and the R9 3 or 280, and so
Yeah.
they're such a good card, man. They just overclock really well. They don't use up too much power. They don't drop a lot of heat in your case, and they still get good performance.
Yeah.
Is it worth upgrading a 3770K? Not if you're just gaming. No, they're a solid CPU. Yeah. So Ryzen 1700s, yeah, they're probably clearing them out. That's why they're so cheap. 278 Aussie dollars. Yeah, Vega 56 for 500 Aussie is actually a really good price. That's pretty solid. Especially if you like the what you call it, the FreeSync support. That's yeah. So, and Tech Dundee, how am I? I'm all right. Don't know. That's Korean, I believe your name is. What does that mean in Korean? Please let me know in the chat. Can I get a good 144 hertz build used parts for $500? Depends where you live. If you hunt, hey man, depends on your time frame as well. Over time, you can hunt such good deals, and you can piece together some really good stuff. I mean, if you can get the monitor for $100, piece together something for 400, you definitely have CS:GO running 144 hertz for sure for that price. Worth upgrading an i7 4790 to 8700K for 144 hertz gaming. Depends on the game you play. Again, I mean, it's an upgrade. Is it worth your money? Just depends, man. I'd say, yeah, you'll notice a difference if your graphics card is big enough to support it, and in the games like CS:GO, for example, you get a big benefit out of that. And then yeah, we got another question here, Brian. How could I reach higher mem speeds on Ryzen Plus system? I got G-Skill 3600, CL16, but I can't go over 3200 speeds. Up the system on chip voltage. That's usually what it is. Give your system on chip voltage, especially if you can't even get XMP profiles on. Up that voltage up to 1.2 is a good starting point. Might need to go 1.25. Give it a go. If it doesn't work after that, then maybe your chip's limiting you, and so you might have to settle for like 3466 or something like that. I mean, you can go crazy on the voltages, but just be careful because you don't want to wreck your gear. So yeah. All right, 1066 gigabyte or 580 with FreeSync tech. It depends on the prices. If they're both the same, I've said it in the past, I would just pick these. I would pick the 1060 slightly over the 580. That's my personal preference. How about you, Greg?
1060 over the 580. Yeah, I think the 1060 I prefer GeForce experience just because I'm more familiar with it. So yeah, from that standpoint, sure.
Yeah. Okay, so any recent issues with AliExpress not shipping X3440s and P55 motherboards? They closed my order citing security issue. Very weird. I've never had a problem with AliExpress. I just got a few Xeons in, 2 X3440s and a X3430 recently, so not sure what happened there. Are you guys using 10 gigabit networking for your needs for file transfers? I am down in my studio. Yeah, I got 10 gigabit set up. I'm in the process of actually utilizing it fully. Still not utilizing it fully. But apparently Asus have a router. I was speaking to Marco. Asus Tor have a router that's very budget, but you can combine the 3 1 gigabit ports to get 3 gig speeds. That's very practical. I want to check that router out because that's super practical for a lot of people, especially in home studios. What is the silly question? Would you still use a 7030-50K as a box opener or a keychain, Greg? I mean, I use a Xeon personally, or a Core 2 Duo is my favorite because you get them everywhere.
Yeah, that was still a chip that I had used for probably about a year to open up boxes with because I never saw an actual use for it. Yeah, that chip they actually lowered the price, and I think in response to a lot of the backlash they got for the price being, like 170, 180 MSRP on that chip. It was so outrageous. Like you could get a locked i5 for the same price, and you had 4 cores instead of 2 with HT, so it was just ridiculous when it came out. They were asking for that.
Yeah. Okay, what do you think of Intel being behind on 10 nanometer and AMD being ahead with 7 nanometer? I think it's a great thing. Let the competition begin. Now, Intel, they've got some talent on board now, so they really recognize the threat, right? And you see them with their mesh architecture. They're trying to scale for more cores as well. So they think, as AMD thought back with Jim Keller, they thought the future was more cores, more threads. And so AMD designed from the ground up to go with more cores, more threads. Of course, I think for all us tech enthusiasts, really, the ring bus is still so relevant. And what Intel's going to, if they're going to improve that or they're just going to go straight for a scalable architecture, I don't know, remains to be seen. I'd love it if they did both. But yeah, I think competition's always awesome. 7 nanometer, bring it on. Let's see Intel up their game, because that's what they're going to have to do. So Okay, more questions. Was EVGA SLI 3 with 24 gig of RAM for 135 USD a good deal? Yeah, 24 gig of RAM is good for that just alone, I think. 360 mil rad's worth it. Depends what you're calling. Ever built a 3970X system? We're going to go one better than that, dude. I'm building something soon on that's going to go better than that. Is Corsair 750D a giggity? Good case for custom water cooling. Yeah, it actually is. So anyway, guys, thanks for all the questions too. We're going to close it off. Are we going to go stream over your side, the after hours? That's where we just chat with the viewers and answer Q&A. Do you want to do it, or have you got? Let's do it. Have you got it in you? Yes.
Yeah,
that's exact. There we go. That's it. Then after that, I'm going to hit up the gym, brother, and I'm going to edit out the used PC parts hunt. Woo! I don't know where I got this newfound energy, man. I'm just like 20.
Yeah, you're making me sound really lazy. I need to be inspired by you.
You're a young gun, man. You've got to be on your game. You got to be like
energy, right?
You got to be pumped. You got to have that energy to win, man. So
yeah, exactly.
Anyway, that's it. All right, we're gonna head over to Greg's channel for after hours. If you guys want to ask questions and chat, then go for it. As always, love all you guys with the support as well. Videos are gonna keep coming, and they're not gonna stop. So. Don Lee, I don't hit the gym. I do, man. I do cardio, dude. You got to be on your cardio game. I see a lot of dudes at the gym just pumping up muscles, and it's like so irrelevant. One guy's like, he's pumping up his muscles at the gym, and he's like telling me, man, how do I get rid of my gut? And I'm like, dude, you just saw me on the treadmill.
Yeah,
that's the solution right there. Go get on that thing. Anyway, so all right. Catch you guys later. Love y'all, and I'll catch you in the next one. Sorry for the short stream, but I'm blaming it on Greg.
Yeah, it's my fault. It's all me.
Just blame it on Greg. Yep. There we go. All right. Hope you guys, if you have any comments as well after the stream's done, be sure to drop a comment in the comment section below, and we'll catch you in the next week. Hopefully on normal schedule on a Saturday American time, Sunday Australian time. Sorry for the irregular schedule, but we're sort of both getting back into the groove as well after that big hit that was Computex. Greg's plus Greg had a little bit of a break, well deserved. Anyway, after hours, here we come.
See you.
You guys do peace out for now. Do peace out for now. Bye.
Peace out for now. Bye.
You want me to do what? Peace out for now. Bye.